Maybe you don't have ADHD, but maybe you have symptoms of ADHD, and just maybe it's because you're doing this thing that everybody is guilty of doing, which is scrolling through your phone, jumping from one task to the next, having 15 tabs open like you do on your computer, but instead these 15 tabs are open in your mind, slowing your mental computer down, draining you of energy, losing your ability to retain information, losing your ability to focus on one thing at a time, and even failing to finish what you start. This is just like jumping on your phone to look up something specific. You get some drop-down notifications from text, from IG, you respond back to the text, you click on the IG notification, you're looking at the reel that your friend sent you. Now you've checked out 7 or 8 different reels. You find something interesting, so you go look it up to see if it's true, and then it takes you to YouTube, and now you're looking at YouTube, and then because you go to YouTube, you come across the shorts, the short videos, and so you're looking at these 15-second clips, and then you're like, wait, I came here to look up something. What was I coming here to look for? You're like, wait, I jumped on my phone in the beginning to look up something. What did I even come to my phone for? And then you're sitting there like, God, my memory sucks. This just keeps getting worse. Man, like, these are like, I must have ADHD because I can't focus. Maybe it's not ADHD. Maybe it's just symptoms of ADHD because you keep doing this one thing that we're all doing. So I started looking into the art or power of concentration. I want to say like 12, 13 years ago. I was on a path to develop certain habits, and I wasn't really sure which habits to start. And I remember like thinking to myself, like, I can't ever get things done. Like, I start things and I don't finish them. I have a pile of clothes on my bed that I haven't folded and they're just sitting there. I have dishes in the sink that I have not yet started. I keep saying I'll get to it later on, but every time I go downstairs to go do the dishes, I get distracted, or I have to go do something else, take out the trash, then I'm outside, and then I'm talking to friends, and yada, yada, yada. So I have all these pending things all the time that are occurring in my life, and it's frustrating, it's annoying. So when I started looking into the power of concentration and focus, it's a book that I came across, written in the 1920s, I want to say. It completely blew my mind, because the author's talking about how most people never realize their potential because they never stick to one thing long enough to experience the results of the effort that they put in. They never experience the results because their effort is limited, because they're constantly breaking their attention for whether it be their parents, their friends, their family, their spouse, co-workers, whatever's coming into their reality. And again, this is written in the early 1900s, so they didn't make any reference to social media, etc. But they said that, like, every time we break our attention to get back into that laser-like focus, it takes up to 25 minutes sometimes just to get refocused. And this could be for like a 3-minute distraction or a 30-second distraction. Once we pull away from what we're focusing on, it takes a cool minute to get back in it. And then when we can't get back in it right away because we don't understand this part of our mind, there's frustration there. There's when we start reading back what we're reading or studying, we are thinking about something else. We're not lasered in like we were before. And so then while we're reading, we're entertaining a whole entire different reality than what's in front of us. And then we get frustrated about that. You're like, God, this whole attention span thing sucks of mine. And so anyways, the author does a really good job at explaining how the mind works and how important it is to develop this habit of sticking to one thing or doing one thing at a time. And the author gave a lot of different examples in terms of exercises that you could do to help you refocus. And one of them that I still do to this day is I set a timer when I'm folding my clothes. Because oftentimes I come up with an excuse like, oh, I'll do it later, or oh, this takes so long, I don't have enough time for this. Even till this day when I fold my clothes, it takes like less than 7 minutes to fold everything and put everything away. And these clothes sometimes are sitting on my bed for 3 days, 4 days, sometimes a week. And then I can't find what I need. There's sometimes I'm looking for my belt. My belt is still on a pair of pants that are underneath the pile of freshly clean clothes that I have yet to put away. And then I'm losing time, I'm losing focus, I'm getting frustrated. So anyways, I'm sharing with you all of these different things that happen still till this day, every now and then till this day. But it all has to do with committing to a task and seeing it through. So when I started to really take this seriously, I got a lot of pushback from people. Like, people got legitimately mad at me Because I would be reading a book, or I'd be working on some notes for a client, or I'm studying material to get better acquainted with certain subjects for my clientele or for myself. And when people would come in to say, hey, Rob, take a look at this, or hey, I wanted to talk to you about this. And I would just put up my finger, like, and I would get back to work. And there were people who called me selfish. They said I was an a-hole. Why are you being so mean? You're being so rude. And I always found it ironic how when people want your attention and you're not giving it to them, because let's say you're preoccupied with something that you're committed to, you're focused on, they tend to call you selfish. But they're the ones who are selfishly asking for you to break your attention on something to look at them. It's interesting, right? So this isn't, I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just sharing with you possibly what you can run into. But when you're so committed to developing yourself and developing certain habits to enhance your life, you're going to get pushback from people because they're not familiar with the new habits that you're developing. So especially like, me being obsessed with the mind and how the mind works, I tend to gravitate towards books written in the late 1800s, early 1900s, where a lot of these tactics or ways of thinking and ways of being, or these ideas aren't really being circulated as much as the ideas are today, because a lot of the ideas being shared today are just regurgitated by current ideas that are going on. I love original ideas from back in the day that aren't really similar to what's happening right now. Because right now there's certain societal norms and expectations that are expected of you that weren't being used back then. Like, for example, putting my finger up and saying, hold on, please. And then continuing to do my work for another 10 minutes, then finally breaking my attention when I'm complete. Hey, what did you need? I'm done now with what I'm doing. And they're over here brewing up a bunch of energy, frustrated energy, resentment and whatnot, because you didn't break their attention. See, that's what I mean by these ideas are profound and effective, but they're not really socially accepted. And you can get judged for this. And so if you have a fear of being judged or you're a people pleaser, this might be a bit of a battle, but a huge leap in your progression in the development of who you really are, because you're now breaking these other patterns, right? So back to the original concept here, we are consistently bombarded by external stimuli, pulling our attention, having us look at this and look at that. Check out this cat video. Check out this person jumping off a cliff. Check out this skit that someone made up about getting cheated on. And we're all looking at these things simultaneously while responding to a video, while notifications coming down, while our computer over here or our laptop or our phone has a task that we said we're going to do that we haven't even jumped to yet, and then a book that we said we're going to start reading last week that we haven't even gotten to yet. All of these things are pending, exhausting us, which is why this is causing people to believe they have ADHD, where they can't focus on one thing at a time or long enough to see their project or task through. And so what this does is it has us feel this frustration within ourselves because we don't feel competent, we don't feel confident, we don't feel like we can push through hard things. We start to feel like we need to escape with what we're doing in front of us, and then we misjudge it as like, well, maybe this work isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But it's really our addiction to escaping, because we're constantly checking our phone or getting distracted by our notifications. And so then when we focus on one thing, we can't, and we just want to jump, we want to move, we want to squirm away. And then on top of that, we start to develop, or rather we lose our ability to remember things. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about how their memory is going to shit because of, they are maybe saying because of old age, or I don't know what's happening ever since 2020, I haven't been able to focus. But I firmly believe it's because of what we're talking about here, which is the constant scroll and constant task switching. If you want to break these patterns, these ADHD symptoms, you want to start to develop your ability to stick to one thing for minimum 20 minutes. So what I like to do is I like to use this audio, it's on YouTube, where I believe it's 20 minutes, and it's a certain frequency that has me focus on this one thing. It really does make a difference when I play this in my earbuds and I turn my phone down. I don't need to set a timer because I use the end of the track to indicate that, hey, I'm done, take a break. But also, if you don't want to use audio or any sort of external electronics and whatnot, set a timer. Maybe 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, whatever works for you. And just do that one thing until it's done. Test this out. And there's one other thing that I want you to look for. Pay attention to how often you just want to escape the task, how quickly you want to squirm and just move away from what you're doing. That temptation to look at your phone or check your notifications. Has she texted me back? Has he texted me back? Did I get back the report? Did I find out how I did on this test? Did so-and-so respond back to my message? Like, you're gonna see all these things pop up. That is your system, your default system, wanting to go back to how things are. If you override this, which I believe you will because you're watching this video for a reason, you're going to empower yourself to stick to things long enough to reach your potential. All right? So let me know in the comments how this works out for you. Let me know if this is relatable and if you're experiencing the ADHD symptoms yourself, or you are having a difficult time focusing. If this video hit you at all and you're like, damn, I really resonate with this, hit the like button. If you want to guarantee that you come across my videos again, hit the subscribe button. And if you found this valuable, share this with your friends or share it on social media. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, there is no ceiling.